Hey all, excuse me, Mark Charles here. Welcome. This is a new potential series depending on, you know, audience participation feedback. If you guys like this, let me know. Um, and I'm open to suggestions. If you would like to take a certain meditative journey to a certain area, a certain dimension, time and space, anywhere in time and space, past or future, present. Um, Basically, imagination is the limit, which is limitless. And yeah, so welcome to Meditate with Me. So, one of the things I want to do is talk a little bit about manifestation, and then I want to go ahead and do the journey. So, I love the beach, and I'm I'm like 3 miles from my favorite beach in the world. I'm not going to say which one it is, but it's incredible, and the energy is amazing. One of the reasons I think the ocean is so healing is because it's a conglomeration of different elements that are particularly healing for the human body. So you've got the salt air, you've got the ions from the ocean, you've got the sound of the ocean, you have crushed minerals that you walk on, which actually has some quartz and gold in there. You can even see it if you look close. Uh, and yeah, so it feels good. There's almost always a breeze blowing. The air smells fresh. Another thing I've learned, which is pretty cool, growing up in a rainforest, which is what the Oregon coast is, we can get 100 inches a year of rain here. When I was a kid, I would often play in my rain gear because if you didn't, you wouldn't be playing. There was a lot of water, a lot of muddy roads and puddles, and I rode dirt bikes. I built forts. I went fishing, camping. Um, had really an idyllic, magical childhood, and yeah, I left. I left the coast for a long time to explore. I went to Hawaii and Arizona, New Mexico. Lived in California, a couple different places, San Diego, Santa Barbara. Moved back to Portland. Lived in Lake Oswego for a few years, and I came back here, and I'm like, why did I leave again? It's nice here, but when you get a little experience and a little bit of age, then you appreciate peace and quiet, nature, fresh air, uh, kind of a warm community, and that sort of thing. So anyway, I moved here to help out my mom, and also because I needed some help. And I won't go into too much detail about that here, but it had to do with my health. Um, and it's been really a wild journey. I've learned a lot as an inventor. I've always been very proactive in creating solutions, and I've done the same thing with my healing journey. And yeah, so my mother's really appreciated it because she is getting up there and has a fairly large house and large yard to take care of. And so yeah, I've been, I guess, fairly indispensable for her, which has been great because I feel like I've earned my keep, and it's been really nice just to have a home that I can move right into, and it's just so close to the beach. So, but at some point, I want my own home again. Really, I'm ready for that now. So, I've been working on manifesting that. And I just want to tell you some thoughts about manifestation that I've um, really become aware of. And in my past imaginary journeys, which I'll tell you this, first of all, it starts off as imagination. Imagination is kind of like a template It's almost like we all have built-in templates. Like all of these businesses, like website builders, they come with templates that you can start with. That's what imagination is like. So you create a template in your imagination, and as you spend time with it, it starts to get filled with life, and then you can step into it. One journey I did, this is a while ago, but I use this for an example because it's such a pure example. So I was missing home. This is when I wasn't living here at the coast. I was living in Portland, I think it was at the time. Or no, Lake Oswego. I think it was in Lake Oswego. Yeah. And one night before I went to bed, I closed my eyes and I was just imagining the pasture fields that lay around my mother's house, my family home. And my dad moved away a long time ago. He lives in the desert for many years now. But anyway, so I was just imagining myself walking through these fields. I was looking at the pond that's there. I was feeling the grasses rub against my palms, kind of smelling the alfalfa grasses and the flowers, and smelling the salt air as it blows over the fields because the bay is nearby, and then the ocean's just a little bit farther away. But yeah, so walking along, and I was just imagining this. But there came a point during my journey where I felt like a lightness, and I started to actually, feel um, these little grass reeds that were going in my hands, and I could just tell that I was actually moving into that template. It became full of life, and I also felt a lightness of being as I did that. And at that point, I knew what to do because I know how to fly in dreams. It's very intuitive for me. Basically, I just think lightness, and I just start to lift. And that's what I did. I just thought myself light. I started to move into the air, and then I just flew in a big circle, and I just smiled because I thought, oh, how wonderful is this? I go from imagining to now I'm flying in this reality. So, yeah, we have a lot of special abilities as soul, which is what we really are, is a point of awareness. So, anyway, this goes hand in hand with manifesting because you can do the same thing. You can visualize something, start off with a template of what you want, and then you can engage it. You can touch it. You can smell it. You can look at it, of course, listen to the sounds around, and just engage all your senses. But the more that you feel it and engage with it, the more likelihood it is you're actually going to spend time there in your spirit form. And as you anchor yourself there in your spirit form, then you're going to, um, you know, begin to own that reality. You're going to develop a connection with it. And the way I see it is you become quantumly entangled with that. And when that happens, then it's basically just another aspect of you. And when it gets to that point, it's much more likely for it to come into your reality. And that's what manifestation is. If you haven't read Neville Goddard's books, I've read all of his books. My favorite, especially for new people, is called The Law and the Promise. And in fact, if you comment below this video and say law and promise, um, I don't know how to do it. I guess I'll reply to your comment with um, how to get the book, I guess. Anyway, just comment if you want. But okay, so let's do this. I'm going to just spend a little time in uh, a dream house, a house that I want. Okay, maybe it'll come out better than even I imagined it, but I'm just going to kind of mock up a template. I've already done this a few times, but let's do it again. And good thing, excuse me, I wanted to tell you uh, is that I've had this issue myself quite a bit. I have a very fertile, vivid imagination. However, I can often get interested in so many things. For instance, I might imagine a golf course because they're beautiful, beautiful places. And then I'll be thinking about the trees there, and then there'll be a little squirrel running around in the tree, and then I'll go, squirrel. And, so I just have a lot of different things that I can get interested in. So here's a great, great tip for that when you're doing your manifestations is give yourself a self-guided journey. So as you're visualizing, go ahead and talk and say, okay, now I'm here and this is what I see now. And okay, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to touch this. And over here, I imagine this exists, and so on and so on. So let's do that. Okay, so we're now moving from where I am now in my family's house to the beach. I can smell the salt air, and I'm looking out the window. I can hear the ocean. I can see the waves down below. People are small. I'm way up on the hill, and I kind of like that because it's safe from tsunamis and maybe a little bit less wind up here. I have a large stone wall around my property. It's about 6 feet, maybe 8 feet, 6 to 8 feet, somewhere in there. And but I'm on the second floor and I can see over the wall, which is really great. So I have really great privacy, out of the wind, protection, with a lot of landscaping. There's a fountain. It's gurgling. It's nice, but it's not too loud, so I can enjoy it when I'm close up. But I don't hear it everywhere, so I can also have quiet. And I can smell wood in this house because there's wood on the walls. It's tongue and groove pine. There's hardwood on the floor. There's smooth, beautiful granite countertops. I have a large, beautiful projection TV to watch movies. I like those because they're easy on the eyes. There's skylights. There's natural light coming in. There's a covered porch, and part of the porch is screened in, so I can go out and not worry about bugs or anything like that, although there really isn't too many bugs at the beach. I don't know. Maybe I don't even need that. But maybe just one small section is screened in. The rest is open, so you can get a suntan or whatever. And the yard has an organic garden in it. So there's some fruit trees, beautiful green lawn. There's some flowers. I love flowers. And I have a little guest house. And that's great for meeting people or having company over, or even as a rental. Yeah, so I plan on doing, something I've thought of is having like these fat bike retreats where we go riding all day in silent meditation. And I provide the bikes. And at the end of the day, there's a potluck. Everybody brings out their dish from their car or whatever. And then we have a big bonfire and we all sit around the fire and we tell stories about our silent meditation. That's my idea, is to do like a silent bike ride. So we just really relax. We connect with each other really deeply, in a relaxed way. And I think this would be really good for humanity because people have lost the ability to connect a bit. I think that's a lot because of texting and the internet. So this would be a chance just to kind of pause from regular life and give this a shot. Anyway, I know it's fun. I've done it many, many times. And silence can be incredibly peaceful. It's a way to tap into the flow of nature and of the divine intelligence that lay all around us. And people talk about being in the flow state. Well, this is definitely a way to get there. So anyway, if you want to try out the flow state, you might like to come to a Fat Tire bike retreat. But yeah, anyway, just kind of thinking out loud on that as I manifest this house at the beach, because this will definitely be something I want to do there. Anyway, I hope you guys and gals, enjoyed this journey. It was a lot of fun. And, it's been a little bit quiet over here on YouTube, but if you guys are interested, definitely let me know with a comment, because, if nobody's really coming or listening, then I probably won't come by too often. But if at least one person shows interest, it'll encourage me to come back, do some more of this. All right. Well, you all have a wonderful day or evening, wherever you are. Love you very much, and we'll catch you later. Cheers.